Okay, today's lesson we'll be going over the Ten Commandments. We're going to start with Hebrews chapter 5 verse 12. We're in Hebrews chapter 5 verse 12. Hebrews chapter 5 verse 12. Read.
Hebrews chapter 5, verse 12. For when the time ye ought to be teachers.
For when the time you ought to be teachers. Who are these people that are supposed to be teachers? The children of Israel. Exodus 19 and 6 lets us know that the children of Israel are to be a nation of priests. They are the teachers of this earth. Okay, go ahead.
You have need that one teach you again.
You have need that one teach you again.
Why
do we have need that one teach us again? Because we lost our heritage. We lost the truth of the Bible. And the Roman Catholic Church and the Christian churches have taught falsehood. They've taught Christianity. They haven't taught the truth of this Bible. Go ahead.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High.
Which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High. So we must start over with those first principles. That's why we're going to start today with the Ten Commandments. Let's move right along to Exodus, the 20th chapter. We're in Exodus, the 20th chapter. Let's start at the first verse.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 1. And the Most High spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
He hath brought us out of the land of Egypt. Go ahead.
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. The original landmass of Egypt was called Montezorum or Mizraim. It was named the house of bondage because the children of Israel did hard bondage there. How do we know this? Let's go to Exodus 13 and 3. How do we know that Egypt was called the house of bondage? Read.
Exodus 13 and 3. And Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which ye came out from Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Out from Egypt. Out from where?
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. Let's go back to Exodus, the 20th chapter. Let's start at the first verse.
Exodus 20, verse 1. And the Most High spoke all these things, saying, I am the Lord thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. Go ahead.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me, which lets you know that there's other gods being worshipped in the earth. Let's get Psalms 96 and 4. The Most High said, don't have any other gods before me. That includes Buddha, that includes Krishna, that includes the dragon, that includes Zeus or Jesus, that includes Allah, that includes Jehovah. Read.
Psalms 96 and 4. For the Lord is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods.
He is to be feared above what?
All gods.
The Most High is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. Read on.
For all gods of the nations are idols.
All gods of the nations are idols. That's how you know that it's a false religion or a false god, when there's an idol attached to it. We have some pictures here. This is an idol. The moon and the star. This is also an idol. The wooden cross. We have no other gods before them. These are the two main religions in the earth that have oppressed and brainwashed our people. Christianity, and Islam. This is also an idol. This is the Kaaba stone that the Muslims worship. Don't have any other God before me. That's how you know it's a false God, when there's an idol attached to it. So the Most High says he's great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the nations are idols. But what else?
But the Most High made the heavens.
But the Most High made the heavens. He made everything that we see. And that's another thing. We have this picture right here of the moon and the stars. Whenever did the Most High tell us to worship the luminaries or worship his creation? Even the luminaries worship him. Let's get Psalms 148 and 3. We're going to Psalms 148 and 3. Even the sun and the moon and the stars praise the Most High.
Psalms 148 and 3. Praise ye him, sun and moon. Praise him.
Praise ye him, sun and moon.
Praise him, all ye stars of light.
All ye what?
All ye stars of light.
All ye stars of light. So the luminaries praise the Most High. So why would we praise the luminaries when the Most High created the luminaries and the stars and the moon, the lesser light to rule the night, and the sun, the greater light to rule the day? Let's go back to Exodus, the 20th chapter. Start at the 3rd verse.
Exodus 20 and 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Now, who do the Jewish people call on? They call on Jehovah. Who do the Christians say is God? Jehovah. Right? Jehovah, which means God of ruin, mischief, or calamity. We have it right here. Jah means God. Hova, which is Strong's number 1943, means ruin or mischief. So that's the God of ruin or mischief. That's Jehovah. And that's who the Jewish people call on, and that's who the Christian church calls on, and the Roman Catholic Church. And we have a diagram of the Kabbalistic tree of life that they follow. And in this diagram, it shows a Haya at the top of their tree of life. And to the right of their tree, it shows who? Jah. So if the Most High said don't have any other gods before him, why are the major religions in this earth calling on Jehovah or worshiping Jehovah? And you can pass that around that way so they can see that. It's because they're worshiping a false god. It's even been admitted that Lucifer is the god of Judaism. Go ahead and read this. We have a document here we're going to read a portion of. You can start right there.
It says, Lucifer's purpose to deceive the whole world.
Tell them what the name of the document is.
Is Lucifer the god of Judaism?
So this is a question being asked. Is Lucifer the god of Judaism? Read.
It says, Lucifer's purpose to deceive the whole world. Revelations 12 and 9. By transforming himself into an angel of light. 2 Corinthians 11 and 4. This is the best exemplified by the Freemasons. Their motto is making good men better.
Let's go ahead and start from the top. Right there.
It says in 1976.
Now tell them who this is by.
This is by Will Newman.
Okay, read.
In 1976, Walter White Jr., a concerned patriot, conducted an interview with a young Jew named Harold Rosenthal.
So Walter White did an interview with this Mr. Rosenthal. Read.
Who has the assistant to Saint Jarvis of New York.
Go ahead.
In the interview, later published as a hidden tyranny, the argument Rosenthal belligerently boasts on tape that the Jewish people have fabricated certain falsehoods which work to conceal their nature and protect their status and power.
Read on.
Rosenthal, the commonly accepted lie that the Jews are Israelites and thus God's chosen people.
Go ahead.
Rosenthal said in part, most Jews do not like to admit it, but our God is Lucifer.
Their God is who?
Lucifer.
Their God is Lucifer. Read on.
So I wasn't lying that we are the chosen people.
The chosen people from where? From the Caucasus. They're Satan's chosen people. Read on.
Lucifer is very much alive. Lucifer's goal is to be like the Most High.
Is to be like the Most High. But he's not the Most High. And what did the Most High say? Let's go back to Exodus 20 and 3. And let's pass that around so they can read that document.
Exodus 20 and 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Read on.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image. Go ahead.
Of any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Thou shalt not make any graven images. We have a couple of graven images right here. We have right here a Jesus piece, a graven image of Caesar Borgia. When did Caesar Borgia ever resurrect from the grave? This is a dead man. The Most High said, don't make any graven images. Here's superstar rapper Kanye West with a graven image around his neck. Caesar Borgia.
People get tattoos on them too.
People even get tattoos of this guy. And this guy was a murderer, a homosexual. Dealt with his sister Lucretia. Him and his father, the Pope, having orgies in the Vatican. The Most High says, don't make any graven images. Read on.
Exodus 20 and 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them. We have a picture here of a Muslim kissing the wall, which is supposedly the grave of Ishmael. Read it again.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them. You see that? This is what they're doing in Mecca. Where's that picture of the Kaaba? The Kaaba stone. This is the stone that Muhammad kissed, which is supposed to be a female's private part. This is what they go to Mecca to kiss and bow down before, the Kaaba stone, which is an idol. The Most High said, don't have any graven images, do not bow down thyself to them. Go ahead.
Nor serve them.
Nor serve them. Read on.
For I, the Most High thy power, am a jealous power.
The Most High is what?
Is a jealous power.
The Most High is a jealous power. He's a jealous God. Read on.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me.
So it's generational. It gets passed down to the kids from generation to generation. The third and fourth generation that hate the Most High. So let's go to 1 John 5 and 3. So if that happens to those that hate the Most High, let's see how we love the Most High. We're in 1 John 5 and 3. How do we love the Most High? We don't want our kids being cursed for the third and fourth generation. And us as the children of Israel, we've already received our curse. Now the Most High is removing the curse from us. So we need to know how we love the Most High to avoid these curses in the future. Read.
1 John 5 and 3. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments.
That we keep what?
That we keep his commandments.
That we keep the Most High's commandments. That's the love of the Most High. Read on.
And his commandments are not grievous.
And his commandments are not grievous. That's how we show that we love the Most High. We show that we love the Most High through keeping his commandments. And he'll do what? He'll show mercy on us. Let's get back to Exodus, the 20th chapter. Read.
Verse 6, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me.
That love the Most High.
And keep my commandments.
And he shows mercy to them that keep his commandments. How many of them?
Thousands.
The thousands of them that keep his commandments. So that's how we love the Most High, to avoid those curses. And we need to also not be harsh on each other, our neighbors that we can see. We need to have mercy on each other as well. Why? So that the Most High can have mercy on us. Let's get Ecclesiasticus 18 and 20. That's in your Apocrypha. The Apocrypha, which is the 14 books they took out of the Bible, out of the 1611 King James. We actually have a 1611 King James right here. This book contains the Old and New Testament, and in the middle of this book is the Apocrypha in the middle. That was the way it was from the beginning in 1611, the first version that King James had scribed. You want to take a look? That contains the Apocrypha in it, and it's in the middle of the book. All 14 books. You can't know in detail what happened during the time of our captivity under the Greeks unless you have the Apocrypha. You won't know what happened to the northern kingdom that were overtaken by Assyria in 721 BC unless you have the Apocrypha. You can't even read the rest of the book of Esther without the Apocrypha. And that's scandalous. They just took the half of a book and took it right out. Matter of fact, let me see your Apocrypha. Turn to Esther before you get Ecclesiasticus. Let's see what it says in the Apocrypha. Let's see what it's titled.
It's in the back.
Give it to Elijah. Now read the very top, the first word on the page. Right here.
The rest of the chapters of the book of Esther.
The rest of the chapters of the book of Esther. Now how scandalous is that? Let's make sure everybody can see it. The rest of the chapters of the book of Esther. Why isn't this in your regular Bible? I mean, to take a book out, a few books out, that's bad enough, but to take a book and just tear some pages out of it. These people are ruthless, man. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus.
Chapter and verse 13.
It's ruthless, man. We're in Ecclesiasticus, chapter 18, verse 20. Read it.
Before judgment, examine thyself,
Examine thyself. Go ahead.
and in the day of visitation thou shalt find mercy.
Thou shalt find mercy in the day of visitation. So that's why we need to have mercy and examine ourselves instead of examining other people, so that the Most High can have mercy on us. Let's go back to Exodus 20. We're in Exodus 20. Read verse 6.
And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments.
And showing mercy to thousands of them that keep my commandments. Let's go to Leviticus 26 and 1.
Leviticus 26 and 1. Ye shall make you no idols, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image.
Neither rear you up a standing image. How many standing images do they have in the Roman Catholic Church? Statues of Peter and Jesus and disciples and Mary and all these different people. Rear you up what? Let's read it again.
Leviticus 26 and 1. Ye shall make you no images, nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image.
Rear you up a standing image.
Neither shall ye set up any image or stone in your land.
Any image or stone in your land. And they reared up a stone right here, the cobblestone. And we did some research on the cobblestone, and we found out that it links back to Persian mythology, in which they claim it's where Abraham had a house. That's where they built the cobblestone. Just like you saw that man kissing the wall by Ishmael's grave, the Kaaba stone was built in an area where they say Abraham had a house. And I'm going to show you. I have a book here called The Heritage of Persia. The Heritage of Persia. And inside this book, we have a picture of the Kaaba, or the Kaaba. This is where Abraham supposedly had a house. And you can see right there, it says the Kaaba. It's right there. Look at that. They have to see that. Pass that around for them to see. That's an idol. And that's where they built the foundation for the Kaaba. Right there. So it's nothing but Persian mythology. Keep reading.
To bow down unto it.
To bow down to it. We just saw that man bowing and kissing supposedly where Ishmael had a grave. And we have research that lets you know that Ishmael should have been following the Most High. We're going to go into that too. We have the book of Jasher here, which the Bible points us towards. Reading the book of Jasher. Let's go there. You're going to read something out of here. Can you hand him that Jasher? Get Joshua 10 and 13. First, we're going to prove that the Bible does reference us to the book of Jasher. Jasher meaning upright ones. So this is the book of the upright ones. No, we're in the book. We're going to prove that we should read from Jasher. We're in Joshua chapter 10, verse 13. How many of you have heard of the book of Jasher? The book of Jasher. Go ahead.
uh, Joshua 10 and 13. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. It's is not this written in the book of Jasher?
Is not this written where?
In the book of
The
Jasher?
Bible speaks of the book of Jasher. Let's get the other one. 2 Samuel 1 and 18. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the Bible points you towards the book of Jasher.
2 Samuel.
2 Samuel 1, chapter 1, verse 18.
2 Samuel chapter 1 verse 18.
Read it.
Also he bade them to teach children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of
It
Jasher.
is written in the book of where?
In the book of
It
Jasher.
is written in the book of Jasher. This lets you know that this is a valid book for us to go into to get understanding. Now we're going into Jasher to show you that Ishmael who is the father of the Arabs, father of Muhammad, was to follow the Most High. Or Ishmael was following the Most High. Okay, we're in the book of Jasher. Let's go to Jasher, chapter 22, verse 40. We're in the book of Jasher, chapter 22. And 40. Chapter 22, verse 40.
Jasher 22 and 40. And Isaac the son of Abraham was grown up in those days. And Abraham his father taught him the way of the Lord, to know the Lord. And the Lord was with him.
Now we know that Isaac, the son of Abraham, had Jacob and Esau, of which the children of Israel came out of his loins. Read.
And when Isaac was 37 years old, Ishmael his brother was going about with him in the tent. And Ishmael boasted of himself to Isaac, saying, I was 13 years old when the Lord spoke to my father to circumcise us. And I did according to the word of the Lord which he spoke to my father.
Now this is Ishmael speaking. Read.
And I gave my soul unto the Lord.
He gave his soul to who?
He gave his soul unto the Lord.
Ishmael gave his soul unto the Lord. This is Jasher, the book of Jasher, chapter 22. We're at the 42nd verse. Keep going.
And I did not transgress his word, which he commanded my father.
And Ishmael did not transgress his word that he commanded his father. So where did this come from? They lost their way, because we know that Abraham was a Hebrew. So if Abraham was a Hebrew, then that means that his direct son Ishmael should have followed the way of the Most High, because Abraham learned from who? Noah and Shem taught Abraham, according to the book of Jasher. Noah and Shem taught him, therefore Ishmael should have been following the way of the Most High and should have never been dealing with idols. Just like Isaac, just like Esau, who's the father of the Europeans, and just like the children of Israel who were given the Lord's statutes and commandments. So the Most High says, don't make any graven images, which means no idols. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 11. We're in the Apocrypha, and we're going to the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 11.
Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 11. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
We're in verse 11.
Oh, excuse me. Verse 11. Therefore, upon the idols of the Gentiles shall there be a
So
visitation.
there'll be a visitation on all these idols. Just like, what was it, a couple of years ago, that idol got struck somewhere in the Midwest, I believe, by lightning and cracked in half and fell down. That was an idol, but there'll be a visitation on all the heathenistic idols in this earth. Read.
Because in the creature of God they are become an abomination
They have become an abomination,
and a stumbling block to the souls of men.
a stumbling block to the souls of men. This was definitely a stumbling block to the children of Israel, putting this guy up as Jesus Christ. Why was this a stumbling block? Because first of all, it's an idol. Second of all, if you're going to put anybody up as our Lord and Savior, it would not be this guy. Let me get that book, Dark History of the Popes. This guy was a murderer, a homosexual, and dealt with his sister. Matter of fact, murdered her husband so that he could deal with his sister. And we're going to show you what his father, Rodrigo Borgia, the sixth Pope of Rome, him and his son was doing in the Vatican. Here we have it. We're on page 150 in this book called The Dark History of the Popes. And it says, one story told of a supper hosted by Caesar Borgia at the end of October 1501, where 50 courtesans danced naked with 50 servants. Naked revels. You can go ahead and read that where it says naked rebels.
It says, one story told of a supper hosted by Caesar Borgia at the end of October 1501, where 50 courtesans danced naked with 50 servants. There was followed by an orgy, which whoever made love to the prostitutes the most times or produced the best performances received prizes.
They received a prize. So whoever performed the best in this sexual activity going on in the Vatican, they received a prize. Do you hear us reading this right now? The brother reading this? Go ahead.
The onlookers, who included Pope Alexander, Caesar, and Lucretia, selected the winners.
So Lucretia, the sister, selected the winners along with the Pope. So you wonder why, the Pope looked just straight satanic, eyes bloodshot red, looked like he just came from the pits of hell. Wearing upside down crosses and read on.
Foreign diplomats in Rome who regularly transmitted salacious gossip about the Borgias too.
We can stop there. I just wanted to read that to just let you know the family background of the man that they put up as Jesus Christ. And it's become a stumbling block to men to put up a man like that as Yeshua, who is really our Lord. And who primarily were they targeting with this image? The children of Israel. So we will look at this image, and by telling us that this is Jesus, and then Jesus is God, then therefore when you get persecuted, you're going to be like, well, my persecutor is God, and he's Jesus. What can I do? You can't do anything. And to show you that it was a ploy for them to change Christ into God, we have another book here. We'll show you this. It's a book called AD 2000 years of Christianity. Read from the top.
It says, the new light on Jesus.
The new light on Jesus. Read.
That Jesus was both God and man, had been defined to Nicaea in AD 35.
Read it again.
That Jesus was both God and man, and been defined at Nicaea in AD 325.
So it says that Jesus was both God and man had been defined at Nicaea in AD 325. The pagan Constantine in 325 hosted a council of Nicaea in which they fused the truth of Christ and the disciples with pagan Christianity, adding Easter, which is the worship of goddess Ishtar, who supposedly came down and hatched an egg on the river Euphrates. That's where you get your Easter eggs. And then you got pagan Christmas, the worship of Nimrod, in which they claim a tree resurrected over Nimrod's grave. Therefore, they have the people bowing under the tree and getting the gifts, including the kids. All of that was incorporated during the time of pagan Constantine in 325 AD, including the fact, or not the fact, but the lie that Jesus is both God and man. Then whitewashed everything and have the nerve to still have the original people in the book. Show them that. Are those not Negroes? Look at these people, man. This was all a concerted effort to destroy a people. Just about everybody's grandparents had this guy in their home. I was blessed. I had a black Jesus in my home and a black Moses, but that's still an idol, you know, but at least it wasn't this guy. Let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter. Yeah.
Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 11. And a snare to the feet of the unwise.
A snare to the feet of the unwise. That was a snare to us because we didn't know who we were. We lost our heritage, according to Jeremiah 17. Therefore, they could do this, and it was a snare to the unwise. The Most High is giving his truth back to us, but at this time, we didn't know any better. How are you going to keep people from reading? What kind of garbage is that? Don't let the slaves read. If you want to hide something, put it in a book from the Negro. You didn't let the people read. Read on.
Verse 12. For the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication.
Read on.
And the invention of them, the invention of them, the corruption of life.
Go ahead.
For neither were they from the beginning, neither shall they be forever. For by vain glory of men they have entered into the world, and therefore shall they come shortly to an end. For a father afflicted with untimely mourning.
Who's this father that is speaking of? It's speaking of Rodrigo Borgia, the sixth pope of Rome. Read on.
When he had made an image of his son, of his child, soon taken away, now honored as a god.
Now honored as a god. Read on.
Which was then a dead man.
Was then a dead man. Like I said before, did Caesar Borgia rise from the grave? Did he defeat death? No, he did not. Read on.
and delivered to those that were under him ceremonies and sacrifices.
Go ahead.
Thus, in the process of time, an ungodly custom grown strong was kept as a law,
Kept as a law. Read on.
and graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings.
Graven images were worshipped by the commandments of kings. Go ahead.
When men could not honor presence because they dwelt far off,
They dwelt far off because this is a dead man, right? He's nowhere around. Read.
they took the counterfeit of his
Besides,
visage from far, and made an express image of a king whom they honored.
express image of a king who they honored, the son of the Pope. Read.
To the end that was their forwardness, they might flatter him that was absent as if he were present.
Now, I thought after death, then the judgment. So, why are they trying to flatter a dead man as if he was present? Does that make any sense? Read.
Also, the singular diligence of the
Artificer.
did help to set forward the ignorant to more
Superstition.
superstition.
So the artist would diligently paint these pictures to make the people more superstitious, to make the people more so look at a person like Caesar Borgia, even though his reputation, we know is shot. You're a murderer, homosexual, and you dealing with your sister, killing people for your sister, so you can sleep with her. Oh, we need to make him into a god. So now we're gonna have the artist make the best image he possibly can. Read.
For he, peradventure willing to please one in authority, forced all his skill to make the resemblance of the best fashion.
So who is this artist that it was speaking of? Speaking of Michelangelo, who competed with Leonardo to paint the best image of the Pope's son, which was Caesar Borgia. Read on.
And so the multitude, allured by the grace of the work,
By the grace of the work,
took him now for a god,
they took this murderer now as a god. Read on.
which a little before was honored as a man.
Go ahead.
And this was an occasion to deceive the world.
So this was an occasion to deceive the world. This right here. So you see how dangerous and how much of a detriment it is to deal with idol worship? That was the occasion to deceive the world, for us to believe that that was Christ. Let's go back to Exodus. Just give me one moment. Okay, let's go ahead. We're at Exodus chapter 20, verse 7.
Exodus 20:7. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain.
Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. So what does that mean? That means if you come in to serve the Lord, serve the Lord. Serve the Most High. Don't take his name in vain. Don't take his name just to break his commandments willfully. That's taking the Most High's name in vain. That's what the Gentiles do. Get Jeremiah 10:1. The Gentiles take the name of the Most High in vain. How do you claim to be a Christian, uphold this Bible, but yet you're not following what's in the Bible? That's vanity. That's vain, doing something for nothing. Jeremiah 10:1.
Jeremiah 10:1. Hear ye the word of the Lord, which speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord.
Now, who is he speaking to? He's speaking to the children of Israel, the whole house. Read.
Thus saith the Lord. Learn not the way of the heathen,
Learn not the way of the heathen or the nations or the Gentiles. Go ahead.
and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. Read.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
For the heathen are dismayed at them. Go ahead.
For the customs of the people are vain.
For the customs of the people are vain. Their customs are vain. They do their customs for nothing. If the Most High is the creator of heaven and earth, then why are they not following his what he says to do? Why are not they not following his laws? It's all vanity. Their customs are vain. Why participate in Sunday worship when the Most High said the Sabbath is Saturday? Why eat shrimp, crab, lobster, or pork, even at your churches, even on Christmas? But yet, the Most High told us to stay away from the pig. The Most High told us to stay away from the shrimp, crab, and lobster, and all the other scavengers of the sea. Their customs are vain. So just like we don't want to take the Most High's name in vain, the Gentiles shouldn't do it, but that's what they do. That's why the Most High said, "Learn not the way of the heathen, for the customs of the people are vain." We got to take care of some stuff. Okay, ask him. One moment.